Wow. Hello. I am unsure if you can hear me. Give me a second. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Just a second, everyone. You can hear me. Great. I am just getting everything all set up. I will wait for our host to also join us. But how's everyone? I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you all. I feel like it's been a long time since I've had a webinar, although I'm sure I had one last month. But how's everyone's summer going so far? Because summer's finally here. People are starting to join in. Can you still hear me? We're good? Yes? I hope so. So our host today is Barbara, and I'm very excited to learn more about sales and our strategy. But, you know, before she gets here, I just want to chat. Let me know where you're from, what fun and exciting things you're doing for the summer. And yeah, just type in the chat box. And we should all be able to see your response. I'm just scrolling through looking for Barbara right now. Hi, Amal. I see Amanda, Sylvia, Shelly, Rosa, Lori, Catherine. Hi, Natalie. You're from Colombia. Ooh. I guess I should say, hola, ¿cómo estás? Amanda, you're trying to promote hosting paint nights this summer. Oh, that's cool. Is it like a sip and paint? Because I'm in. You are a great artist. For those of you who don't know Amanda, she's from Raven's Angel. Definitely need to follow her on Instagram. And she posts these cool videos, like time-lapse videos when she's doing sketches. It's really cool. I feel like I missed some people. Catherine, there's Lori. Sylvia from Markham. Hi, Sylvia. I am waiting for Barbara. She did send me an email earlier. She was having a little bit of, it's not letting her join. Just a second. It says you need a password. There is no password required, Barbara. Let me see if there's a way that I can send her an invitation. Just a second. Sorry for this. How do I do it? I wonder if I can do it from here. Not sure. Oh, Amanda, Sarah from Maple, close to Wonderland. Sarah, I know where Maple is. My mom used to live in Maple, which is pretty cool. One second, I'm trying to invite someone directly to the panel. One second. I don't know why it's not working for her. Let's see if that will work. Let's see, you can have drinks. She would host it at her place. Intimate personalized paint nights. I like it, Amanda. While we wait for our host to join, I guess I can start talking a little bit about what we've been up to and also what we have coming up. So today, well, for the last 2 hours, I've spent it trying to make all the updates to our Facebook pages and some of our constant contact event pages with information for our upcoming seminars. So we have all the graphics for our panelists and for our speakers and workshops and for our keynote speaker for our August seminar. So all that information has been announced, which is very exciting because we are a month and a few days away from that event, and we're almost sold out of vendor spaces. We just have about 5 left, last I checked. And we're, full throttle trying to get all the last minute pieces together. So I'm very excited. We have an amazing lineup of speakers. It is going to be an event you don't want to miss. So that was just the past few hours. We are working on we're actually opening our consulting packages to some beta groups. So we had a couple people already interested in signing up for one-on-one consulting and accountability plans. So that full information will be launched shortly. If you didn't hear, a couple months ago, we made some major updates to the resource section of our website. So now we have, I'm just checking email at the same time to make sure Barbara can register. Now we have a really fully loaded resource page. There we go. Barbara is on. Excellent. Promote to panelists. Yes. Barbara. Yes. Let me unmute you. Hey.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Just landed from Norway.
Wow.
I'm so excited to be with everyone.
How is Norway?
That is an extraordinary country. And retail is the same all over the world.
Oh, well, that's good. We're all going to learn about that. I'm so excited that you're here. I was actually just trying to fill a little time telling everyone what we've been up to here at Canadian Small Business Women, because I feel like it's been a while since I've done a webinar, probably about a month. And I'm so excited to say I'm actually taking a couple weeks off. I put that in quotes because it might not be fully off, but starting next week, which I'm really excited about. We're just going to do a little family trip, so that's good. And yeah, we're launching a lot of cool stuff. I was talking about our seminar coming up in August in Mississauga, and it's going to be so good. And we just announced all our speakers on social media, so we're going to do that as well on Instagram very shortly. But I don't want to sit here and say, oh, something exciting did happen. I can't believe I forgot this. Wait a second, I'm gonna pull it out. I have to say thank you very much to the lovely people at Chiwe. I hope everyone can see this.
Wow.
So I have been selected as one of the 100 Canadian Black women to watch in 2019, which I'm very excited about.
Congratulations.
Thank you, but I'm always so nervous whenever I get nominated or whenever I receive awards, because I already put so much pressure on myself, and there are days when I'm like, I'm gonna slack off, I'm not gonna do anything today, but in the back of my head I'm like, there's so many people who expect me to do great things. No, I can't slack off, I have to work hard. So I'm very thankful.
Well, you know what? I've just known you a short while, but your nature is such that there's just no way that you can be slacking off.
I try.
Just the way you are.
I try to slack off on Sundays. Sundays, that's my no computer day. That's the only day I sit and I watch a lot of television. Wow. Just no computer.
Well, you need to turn off. You need to turn off.
Yes, yes. So I'm not going to spend the whole time talking. I am going to allow you to take over, and I'm going to run your slides from my screen so people will be able to see your beautiful face and your slide deck at the same time. And just so everyone knows, if you have any questions, oh, Lady Gaga says you were born this way. Yes, I was. If you have any questions, type it in the chat box. I will be monitoring the chat box. I will also be monitoring the question box. Barbara, you can see everything I can see, which is perfect. This recording, I will post it on YouTube tonight. I will email everyone who registered the link, And I will also share it on our social media platforms so that it's there for you to watch forever and ever and ever, anytime you need a refresher. And it also will have all of Barbara's contact information too. So win-win.
Win-win. And I'll do the same on my end.
Excellent. Look at that. So I am going to share my screen and run your deck. And yeah, let's start learning. I already have my paper and pen, everyone, so I'm ready.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, just to have that first.
Yeah, I know. I always have that ready. Okay, sharing screen, running slideshow in T-2 seconds. Okay, maybe 3. Okay, 2.
So just some quick housekeeping. I have control of changing the slide, right?
I do.
Okay, so I'll just say, like Vanna White. Next slide, please.
Sure, and I will do it.
So obviously a big, huge welcome, both from Duania and myself. A real pleasure to be here, and it's a real honor actually to be invited to speak to all of you. So many different topics I could have talked about, but at the beginning of our relationship, so that my thought process is very methodical. We have to, in order to achieve the numbers, we have to plan for the numbers. So my topic beyond the 2019 sales planning or plans, you're going to learn something maybe that you've never ever thought of before. You're going to be doing reviews through the time we have together, and that's a good thing, really good use of your time. We are also going to be, or I'm going to be requesting that you look at adjusting the way you're doing things, because as you know, business is all about setting plans, about working the plan. And then, when we've made the plan and better, we make adjustments when we didn't quite make the plan. So again, we make adjustments and we keep going on. And then, of course, part of what's going to happen today as well is that you will verify that you're going in the right direction. So it is a very complex set of instructions that I'm giving you. So let's turn the next page, Renee. Just in case you were wondering what the heck is this woman going to be talking to you about, as a business coach, one of my primary goals is to help you increase sales, because otherwise what the heck are we doing this for? So every issue I cover today with you will lead you to understand how to increase sales. Next slide, please. So when we look at setting sales targets, which is important to do, we're looking at increasing sales and a new word. Many of us don't think about this. We need to run profitable businesses, because otherwise, why are we doing this? So let's just see what we can unearth there together. Now, for many of you, you may still be, God bless you, in the struggle of, should I have a point of sale system? Or perhaps maybe even the struggle, should I update my point of sale system? I didn't prepare that information for you today, but in the event you are struggling to decide what point of sale system to get for not only your business, but also if you are a retailer, for your retail store, you're going to write me at retailmakeoverca@gmail.com, and you're going to say, Barb, could you please share your analysis of the various point of sale systems out there? And of course, there's lots of variables, whether you need a point of sale system that helps you have an e-commerce component, whether you need a point of sale that gives you the opportunity to, track from wherever you're in the store, to do remote control sales, which is another thing. Also, what is the capacity of the point of sale? Is this point of sale connected to your bookkeeping system? So let me know if you need help, and it'll be my pleasure to send you that report. But you can see I'm pretty straightforward here. You cannot do business without it. I've been a business coach for over 25 years. I've then almost, believe it or not, had 20 years experience in corporate. And what I know for sure is that there's still businesses out there that do things on pieces of paper. Not allowed. But next slide. So you'll never forget this slide because, again, remember, I'm talking about the real. I coach every day. I work with hundreds of businesses. I've worked with tens of thousands of businesses in my chosen career. And what I see is that we don't have effective bookkeeping. Let's not lose sight of what we're doing. We're building and understanding all the things that we need to think about when it has to do with increasing sales. Bookkeeping is important. You have to have an effective system. It has to be integrated. So, the bookkeeping system has to be an effective system. It has to be integrated with your point of sale. And God bless all of you that you have a talented and reliable bookkeeper and accountant. I'm going to tell you right now that you cannot be everything to your company. And if you, for whatever reason, have decided that, no, Barb, I know, I can understand, I know how to do bookkeeping, I can be that accountant or have been that accountant, but you can't be everything to your business. You have to draw near to you people that can provide you these services so that you have the information at the ready and that you can keep managing the business more as an overview and in a more management type of role. Next slide, please.
Sure. I just want to interject as well. When you're looking for your accountant, make sure your accountant is a part of a team, because if something happens to your accountant, you still have to file taxes, okay? So you need to make sure that they are not the lone accountant.
Bingo. All right. And you know what? I have so much to say about everything, but I have seen businesses held to ransom because they didn't take care of hiring the right person and also didn't take care of asking for the right reports. Mm-hmm. You do not prepare a once in a year or twice or every other year P&L. It just doesn't work. And again, I can't spend too much more time. You get the point. I'm passionate about you taking care of that detail for yourself. Okay, what's the goal this year? I want immediately for you to think 20% increase. And interestingly enough, when I set a goal for my clients, I show them how they can do it. What I absolutely admire, love about myself is that I realize that in order to make statements as I do as a coach, I have to deliver how to do it. And I promise that's what you're going to have in a moment. So 20% increase. Let's see how we can do it together. Alrighty, here it is. The first thing I need you to do, remember, this is going to be homework. There is never a time where when you are working with a business coach, and specifically me, that you will never have homework. You're going to have homework right now because you have chosen to join us tonight. What I need you to do first is I need you to review actual sales numbers from the previous year. Remember, our goal today is to increase sales and to see how we can do it. So we're going to review actual sales from the previous year. I'll give you some more key data points here. January to December 2018. We got to pull that. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that all of you can pull that information, because that absolutely devastates me when that's the first thing that I ask for from a client and they can't even provide that. The next thing that you're going to do, remember, fingers crossed, you're going to be able to pull this quite easily. Next thing you're going to do is that you are going to add immediately 20% to 2018 numbers, because that is our goal. So we're going to project a 20% increase onto the 2018 numbers. And now we've established the projected sales numbers for 2019. Of course, you can see that I've made it really clear that I want more detail for you. I want you to establish the new projected sales figures from January to December 2019, but wait a second. We're almost halfway through the year. So you're going to adjust this to fit when we've talked today and the time left in the year, of course, right? You do understand that. You can see that. So what are we doing here? We're establishing or projecting new sales figures for the rest of the year, month by month, by reviewing what happened last year in the actuals and adding 20%. Next slide, please. Okay, we're going to leave that for a moment, and now I am going to share with you something that is so important to you as a business owner. I'm going to show you the most important reports that you need to keep an eye on. Okay, next slide. Okay, I'm going to talk about P&L accounting reports. We're going to have a look at it together. I'm going to talk about income statements. I'm going to talk about balance sheets and cash flow statements. And all of you know when I abbreviated the P&L, I mean profit and loss, right? Let's move. So you'll love the way I've done this because you'll look up, okay, now I totally understand a profit and loss report, P&L report, because it's a report that shows your total income. Now, incomes can, for many businesses, come from different places. They can come from sales of product. They can come from sales of services. They can come from any number of different ways that you can say, you know what, this is money coming into my business and I need to track it, okay? So if you have any questions about, can I consider this an income and put it into that very top section of the P&L, write me. Let me know. I want to see what your concerns are. So this report shows total income, and guess what else it shows? It shows total expenses in a specific period of time. Now, I could have exploded an entire report here and we could have gone through it step by step. It would just take too much time. But know that if you are a retailer and you call up this report, what else should be on there is your buying budgets or the amount of money that you have spent on product. It should come up as a separate section under the expenses, okay? Now, this report is a really useful report as it shows you net profit or loss based on total income and expenses. So bingo, huge report. You'll see what I've done, report by report. I'm giving you a very specific action to take here. You have to review this report monthly, not quarterly, not at the half of the year, not at the end of the year, not at 2 years, but monthly. My clients, if they then hire me to do what we call mini meetings each month and a full meeting each month, they are now trained to bring their current P&L to even the mini numbers, and they're thankful for it because that report tells us a lot about what's going on in the business. Next slide, please. Let's look at the income statement. Many of you will say, well, Barbara, there's no difference because it is very much like a P&L report, but I could not mention this because you'll maybe think, well, is the income statement the same as the P&L or isn't it? It is. Many of my clients are obviously looking to get a real handle on money coming in, about how much money they have spent. And they go, I need a little bit of leeway here with the income statement. And here I talk about reviewing that report that comes out looking very much like the P&L report twice a month. Let's look at the next slide. Okay. This is a tough one. Many of my clients, when I ask for it, they don't show me this, especially at the beginning when they're just not used to behaving in their best interests. Very quickly after working with me, I promise you, they understand that quite well. So balance sheets show the financial position of your company on a specific date. That's an important thing to know. So of course now you can see how if you do not have a bookkeeper, a designated person that keeps information flowing in an accurate and a continual way into the system, you won't have this at the ready. So this particular report includes assets, liability, and owner's equity. And I'm going to tell you, many of you have forgotten what you've put into the business, and that breaks my heart because the business owes you back that money. We've got to keep all these numbers fresh. We've got to, the whole idea of including assets, that's your inventory. When I work with retailers and businesses, period, I want to make sure that we keep our eye on all of this so that we know what to do when it comes to allocating monies and making, well, back to the thing whole about businesses being profitable. Now, this report should be called up weekly. Okay, let's look at the last report, please. Boy, this is huge. Cash flow statement. This report is very important. I'll have to tell you, in all the years that I've been working with businesses, this one, at least the majority of businesses have their finger on when they start working with me, because they do understand how important it is to understand where their money is coming and how regularly it's coming. So this report shows you a statement about cash generated and used during the time interval specified on the heading that you key in. There's my clue for you: review daily or weekly. This is a very important report for you. So thank you for that, Dwayna. Okay, this is worth everything that you decided the time that you are investing today. This whole idea of what are the top operating reports, they're different than a financial reports. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to track daily sales. Daily sales are vital to your understanding of how the business is going. And again, because I have many meetings every month with most of my clients, if we're down in sales, we make adjustments in our marketing and our attitude and what we teach our staff to do, so that we are always pivoting on being able to be reactive for over short periods of time. We don't let extraordinary situations where sales are not good, where we're really not working to our best ability over longer periods of time. It doesn't suit your business. It's not a good way to do it. So, by the way, there is nothing that you could say to me that would make me allow you to not participate in these reports. Daily sales, daily average sale. You've got to keep these records. And yes, the daily average sale, which is the average sale of what your customer is buying from you. And you know how that's figured, right? You take the total daily sales and divide it by the number of customers that you have run through at your till. That will give you the average sale. And yes, I could call you on any given day, any given month, and that number would be different. And then again, what we do, we would take the daily average sale and then create the average sale for the week. the average sale by monthly, the average sale by for the whole month, for the quarter, for half year, for the whole year, so that we have these numbers and understand. In a moment, you'll see, based on your average sale, how you are going to increase you're going to make that 20%. You're going to increase your sales based on understanding that. Okay, what else do you need to know? Daily and hourly traffic counts. By now, I may have lost some of you, and you're going, really, Barbara, you need us to count how many people come in through our door? The answer is yes. I don't expect that if you're not doing this, it's going to happen in a miraculous way, often and consistently, but you've got to start doing this, because there's gold in this information. There's gold in this analytics. Many, many businesses, ladies and gentlemen, fail dramatically because they do not have their finger on their analytics. I think you're starting to understand that. But you need the information in order to have your finger on the analytics and able to maneuver this. If you are interested in finding, because Barbara, we're not going to count on our fingers, this is just too complicated for us. You're going to just start. You're going to do your best. And yes, you're going to have to assign, I can only do it for so many hours in the day. Perhaps maybe they're the highest peak traffic hours that you get the staff to participate. This is going to be the biggest challenge, because you're going to hear, that I have the passion for you doing better. But your staff may be sabotaging you because they go, really, does that matter that we count people? The answer is yes, because it's a real base analytic. If you write to me at Retail Makeover, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you, we found several counters that a lot of my clients are using, and it doesn't cost very much money. You could get an automatic counting machine, a counter at the door. We're building here, because the next big thing, when you know what your traffic counts are, when you know what your average sale is, when you know how many people have bought something from you, guess what? You can figure out your conversion rate. And I think, so did you get that? So let's just go through some numbers here. If 100 customers walk in the door, and 50 of those customers have added to your daily sales, and you can see that there's 50 separate transactions, your conversion rate for a day that looks like that is 50%. Well, God bless you on the 50%. Because research shows, both my research, because I work with so many different businesses, and then what I call North American numbers, North American conversion rates, show that the average retail business conversion rate is only 41%. National average for North America, 41%. I just gave you an example that showed you on 100 customers coming through the door, if 50 go through your till, that you have a 50% increase. You are going to be shocked as to how well you are actually doing at bringing customers in the door, especially if you've been around a while, especially if you've tried different things and you actually see people coming through the door, but you've never counted them and you don't know. So again, that analytics is missing you. You're going to be shocked. And as a matter of fact, when you figure this out, what your personal conversion rate is, even if it's for the day or the week, write me and share that with me. I want to hear how well you're doing or how frustrated you are now that you know you have to be looking out for that.
So I have a quick question. Sorry to interject. So the conversion rate for, a brick and mortar, you said is about 41% for North America. When you're looking at online sales, I'm sure it is much, much, much lower. But what would be considered a good conversion for someone who's doing online sales?
Duana, what a fabulous question. but how long has that website been up? There's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
If the website is just new, just a few months old, even up to a year, our conversion rate is going to be below 5%. And so many people get discouraged.
Yeah.
Now, when we're talking about increasing conversion rates, I'm not going to be giving you specific information on how to increase conversion rates on your website. That is for a different conversation, and I hope you invite me back for it. There are so many things to track. But here we are looking for conversion rates in the store. Okay? So start figuring, start tracking, understand that you are at least trying to get to the North American average of 41%. And yes, it's the same almost for every type of store.
And you can use these numbers as well for if you are at events, right? Because then you're tracking, maybe from the organizer, you can say how many people came in the door, and then you can kind of guess how many people you've spoken to per hour and how many sales you've made per hour. And then that can help you decide if that event is worth it for you in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, just to finish that thought off, make sure that every single person you talk to, you've got something, some hook in there that they've given you their contact information, because without that, why did you go?
Exactly.
What were you thinking, right? Okay, a lot of work here. Right now, we're just top operating reports, inventory reports. Let me explain something to all of you about inventory. That is money, your hard-earned money that should be moving through the business. I make it really simple. Any product that has been in your store for more than 12 months and has not turned or moved out of the store, what are you waiting for? That's an entire calendar year. If it's not moved, if you've done everything, including standing on your head to make your customers aware of it and make it enticing for them to buy it, and it hasn't moved, you invite it to leave. It's got to leave. You know, product needs to flow through your business, because when it does, you know, and people ask me, well, Barbara, how many different turns do we need each year? My gosh, you need at least a minimum of 1 turn a season. I'll leave that with you. Some of you have 2 seasons a year. Some of you have 3. Some of you have 4 seasons. Your inventory has to turn through the season, as it has to do and being relatable to your customer and the season that we're in. You can see over on the other side, I have, you know, what should be in an inventory. Just look over to the right-hand side. An inventory report should show sales by category, sales by item, sales by supplier. Really, Barb? You could even categorize things on a price point. How many sales do I make in this average price point? These are very accessible reports, and you need to have these. Many businesses only do an inventory report once a year. I'm going to recommend that is a poor way to do things, because when I meet with clients, keep looking at the right-hand side. Every single month, I ask for sales by category, sales by item, sales by supplier. Every single month. Let's go over to the left-hand side, some visual calisthenics here. You see that margin? I'm asking for that report. That is such a valuable report, because it not only shows, you know, let's say like if you buy something for $1 and then you've marked it up based on you know, you're going to sell it for $2.50 or $2.80 or perceived value of $5 because it's such a fantastic product. These margin reports make sure that things are being done properly. So I'm a big one on not letting staff have too much control about, or not you having the control over your staff to watch how things are done. When product comes in, you are going to supervise the pricing of the product. There's so many mistakes that are made at that original point. You're going to supervise it. You're going to decide whether you're going to keep, a regimented 2.2, 2.5, or perceived value pricing. That's your job. That's money in your pocket at that point of pricing. That is done correctly. That it's done accurately. And then the next big thing is for you every single day is to make sure that that your staff are not pulling the rug from underneath you by not doing things correctly through your till. That they have not only made sure that through your point of sale the right the right price goes in, but then of course that your till balances all. That margin report is golden to you. I'm going to ask you here to make a little note that you review your margin report as often as you can in a month. I'm going to give you a goal of every 2 weeks. Margin reports, many times when I get hired, it's the first thing, it's a report I ask for. And I can honestly tell you I'm at that point in my career that I can tell you if one of your staff is stealing from you based on that report. And that is devastating. That is devastating. Now, in order for us to start moving through some interesting manipulation of ideas and goals, you should be tracking sales by employee. Now, some of you might get anxious when you hear me say that, because my staff is going to revolt around that because they're going to go, what you're going to make me an aggressive salesperson. This is so fundamental to the issues that we have. We're in retail. We're in businesses that sell products. So what do we do? I know what you do as an owner. You're right there, front line. You're able to sell. You're able to understand how to connect with clients. But here's the thing. Your employees need to also, maybe I'll have the privilege someday of training you to train your staff to sell better and still create this amazing customer service environment. So I'd like you to start doing that. We need to see who your star performers are. Also, not to catch them, not to go, you don't sell this much, you're out of here. It tells me what your staff need. If they're not able to sell, if they're the poorest salesperson in the room, I immediately know the kind of training they need. And I need you to look at it that way too, all right? So good luck with that. You know how I feel about sales by category, by item, by supplier. Now, this next report is one that a lot of business coaches don't ask for. Excuse me. I just got to grab a Kleenex. Remember, I was in a plane about less than 8 hours ago. Sales by percentage against the whole. Interesting. So let's pick a category. Let's call the category A. Perhaps maybe in a home fashion store, it's how much dinnerware do we sell? So a report that you call up that's sales by percentage against the whole, and that's what you can type into the search bar. It will start to show you what your top selling categories are. Very valuable information, not only for analyzing your business, but also getting ready for a buying show or to speak to a rep. I know this is a pain in the butt. You can hardly believe that I'm saying this, but I also want to see sales by item. And there is probably 1 to 2 times a year that I will painstakingly go through that report with a client when we're doing a coaching session. Because what that shows, it shows all the items within a designated category. And then it starts to show the items that we don't sell. And my first natural question, obviously, is so how many items of those really low hanging on the vine items do you have in the store Why are we carrying them if we're not selling them consistently over a period of time that the report reflects? And the next big one is sales by percentage against the whole number by supplier. Because again, what that shows us, what suppliers we want to work with, what suppliers we don't want to work with, because they're not contributing to our business. I think if those of you, and maybe you've never looked at your numbers this way, but I think what will shock you is the whole reality of how few categories are your business that are more than 50 to 70% of your business. And yet you carry all these items that don't do anything. You also carry all these suppliers. Oh my gosh, how'd you like to be that? On average, 100 suppliers, 150 suppliers, because you don't get rid of any. It's just the wrong way to approach a business. Lots to cover. Let me move through these reports. I would like eventually to see sales hourly reports. And here is one, I don't understand why, but we need to know why this isn't happening consistently in retail. We need to know what customers are coming in, when they're coming in, and what they're buying. The identification of that is vital to the growth of your business. That's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, let's move on. Thank you. Okay, let's get at it. We're adding 20%. We want that increase, but we have to plan for it. For goodness sakes, please, please, please share the plan with your staff. Now, I do not expect you to sit down with a P&L or an income statement or a balance statement and share that with your staff. That just is not what I'm asking here. But you're going to have to break down the goals of the store and at least share what the plan in sales is for the week, and or how each day is going to contribute to the week. So hear me on this. The other thing is that if you feel that you cannot trust the people that work for you with daily sales goals or weekly sales goals, you got the wrong people working for you. And yes, you can ask them to hold this information, this daily sales targets, so that you can activate what I'm going to share with you in a moment. You can ask them to keep it confidential, and you can actually ask them to sign an agreement that way with you. And you're going to go, really, Barbara, what are we talking about here? We're talking about, organizing your business. You're going to share your plan with the staff, as I've told you. You're going to stick to the plan. We're going to find out why we can't stick to the plan, and we're going to train your staff to work more effectively within the system that I'm sharing with you. We're going to work the plan daily. This is not if you're a retailer sitting there listening to what I'm sharing with you, retail sales, owning a retail store is not for the meek and mild. It's not. So it's hard. It's a hard slog. The thing that absolutely makes me want to burst into tears is that the average independent retailer, which is a woman, I have been doing this a long time. The average retail store owner is a woman, pays everybody but themselves. It's not on. It's not the way I coach and I operate. So we're going to work the plan daily. We're going to course correct it. And here, this is the $1 million statement here on this page. You are going to clearly in your mind understand that the only way we are going to grow your business is one client at a time, one interaction at a time. That's the only way this happens. It doesn't happen in gaggles. So you see on the left-hand side, 20% increase. Go back to the bottom on the right-hand side and understand every single client counts and every interaction. We have to do our best. Let's change the slide.
Okay.
We're going to start to work on a sample here. All right. Now, how are we going to do this 20% increase? The first thing I'm going to ask you to consider, if your, this is an example, if your average sale is $40, so wherever you're, hopefully you're writing like mad at this point, put down on a piece of paper in front of you, your average sale is $40. You'll get used to doing this in a really short time. So to achieve a 20% increase in sales, you'll be thinking, well, how do we do that, Barbara? Remember that slide before? One client at a time, one interaction at a time. So that when you are working with a client and you start to see the average sale, whatever it is, our numbers here are $40, you start to say, yeah, but I need an increase of 20%. So I have to change my behavior. I have to change how I talk about things. And typically, you know what, if I'm talking to you and you're the owner, there's no issue here. You get it. You keep talking about product. You're enthusiastic about a lot of things. But I worry about the behavior of your average employee. You need to share this with them, this system with them. So back to the $40. 20% of $40 is, ta-da, $8. So Barbara, what are you telling us here? Every time that you see the average sale building, and it can continue on to even be higher than that, but at a minimum, you have to click in and say, in order for us to achieve this 20% increase on our own numbers, but in this case, this example, we have to show another product at least in the value of $8. You're starting to get this, how this works? All right. So I'm giving you some more points here. You've got to teach your staff this system by role-playing how to show more $8 items. And you're going to probably say to me, okay, Barbara, I'm thinking about my own numbers, but I don't have items that are worth that much as a percentage of 20% of my average sale. Well, you've got to figure it out. I feel very passionately about this because I'm handing you an incredibly easy way to look at increasing sales. All right? The other thing you need to do, and this starts tomorrow. All of this starts tomorrow. But this starts tomorrow. At your cash register, you have to have an interesting display, a feature that's called Pick of the Week. It's so easy to do. Every item there is, in this case, with these numbers, valued at $8 or more. But beyond that, role-playing has to happen where you teach your staff about the Pick of the Week. It could be, let's say Dwaynia owns the store. I'm going to say it's Dwaynia's Pick of the Week. And of course, as our illustrious store owner, our beloved store owner, the staff are going to be taught to say, Dwaynia loves this product. The reason that she picked it this week as a Pick of the Week or the month, however long you want to keep that product there. She loves this product because it does this, it does. So the whole idea of teaching your staff through role-playing about features and benefits of the product. And everybody gets a chance to see it and to learn about it at the cash. Let's turn the page. This is huge because here you go, very quickly. Shall we go through this? If the average sale is $100, achieve a 20% increase in sales, but how are we going to do that? 20% of 100 is, starting to get used to this, is $20. You're teaching your staff by role-playing how to show more $20 items. Pick of the week here, Dwaynia's Pick of the Week here, our lovely retailer, would be $20 or more, right? Okay, next page. You see, you're going to figure out your own. You're going to figure out your own. So on this, maybe you're going to take your smartphone and you're going to take a picture of this slide so that it's at the ready for you for tomorrow. As a matter of fact, you're going to figure this out tomorrow if you don't know what your average sale is. And you are going to me in your head. All right? Things change tomorrow. Next slide, please. Okay, let's get some more information under our belts. Another analytic that I need you to be right on top of, please, is your power hour. Don't have them there in the store, especially the stronger salespeople. Again, towards those power hours. I hate to say this, if you're struggling, if you're going, Barbara, when I'm there, things work. When I'm not, they don't. You've got to put yourself against these power hours. You have to be there every day, especially now in these tenuous times of me sharing this information and you being there as the teacher trainer to your staff. Be there during these power hours. You know it, and I know it, that your sales are going to go up. Okay? Next slide, please. I believe it's time for your staff to change, to actually start to track their own performance. And so if I'm working for you, if I have the pleasure of working for you, each staff have to have a personal customer count information. They have to do this. They have to be able to tell you how many customers they approached and interacted with. And it's not, can I help you? The whole idea, you know what, it'd be my pleasure to share with you an article that I wrote on engaging customers, because I tell you, if you are having problems with staff that cannot connect with customers, I'm going to say perhaps maybe you need to change the way you do interviews. You realize that I've opened up a Pandora box for you because everything connects with everything. Poor hire means, and without you having clear understanding on how to move your business forward with all this detail, you're going to have poor outcomes. So, sorry, everything connects to me, for me, and with everything else. But your staff have to know how many people they've approached, so that whole count for themselves, and how many people they've interacted with. How many sales did they close? And there's a big drum roll here, because I should be able to call you and I should be able to ask you this question: why are customers walking out without buying anything? Now, if I look at a report with you and I consistently see that your staff is saying people are walking out without buying anything because they're just looking, whoa, do I understand what's going on there? Your staff doesn't get it. We need to role play with them. We need to put language into not only their heads, but coming out of their mouths, so that they can get a much better idea of how to talk to customers about the products. Okay, retail psychology is really simple on that. Anybody opens the door coming into your shop, the sale has already started. They've made a decision to come into your shop and they are open to buy. You have to believe me on that one, okay? Nobody has come in to just have a look. It is a natural reaction, because on average, people who come into your store have poor people skills. They have had bad interaction with other retailers that have made them feel very uncomfortable. And even though they want to come into your store, they don't want you to make them feel funny. One day, before all this is over for me, I'm going to write a book about how customers should behave, because many times they're outrageous. So let's change this. Okay, so that's a little bit about daily tracking. Okay, we want to be more profitable. We got to let me share with you about pricing for profit here. You're going to look at this slide when it becomes yours, however you do that, and you're going to decide that I am sick and tired of being told what I can charge for the items I sell. The whole idea of keystoning is really a very outdated way of marking product up, but it still does exist in many businesses. The whole outdated idea of wholesalers telling you, suppliers telling you what you could charge for something is crazy making, because they know nothing about your business. They don't know how much money you need to make on each product. And I'll tell you very honestly, ladies and gentlemen, this is a real concern for me, because at the bottom I put there that at a minimum, if you bring a product in that costs you $1, you should be charging $2.20 for it. And the reason being is that you need to cover some of your costs that are outside of rent, outside of wages, the transportation costs for the product, their marketing costs. So at a minimum, 2.2. Now, many of you are going, gosh, I wish I could talk to that Barbara, because she doesn't quite understand that I am working with suppliers, and I am working with companies that sell this product online and are undercutting me. That makes me crazy. What are you even carrying that product for if that's what they do? That every single store in a zone in which my store is carry this product, and we're all fighting for the same pricing. That makes me so sad, because you're already setting yourself up for a fall, because there's just too much competition in that product. Pricing is extraordinarily important. You know how I feel about you going through that whole idea of when product comes in, that you're in total control of pricing so that there are no mistakes being made. Anybody want to talk to me more about pricing and the mess that's happening in your store? You know how to get a hold of me. This is a whole conversation on its own. I'll change the slide, please, Dwayne. So here I take you through a little bit more of an example. You're going to fill in your own amounts. So there's a bit of homework here for you to do. Okay. Let's go to the next slide, please. So as we keep, exploring this whole journey about increasing sales, being more profitable, one of the things I thought that I should share with you is the psychology of pricing. Let's have a look at that together by looking at this
question here quickly.
Let's do it.
If we're manufacturing, how should the pricing be?
Well, if you're the manufacturer and you're listening to this, obviously you've set a price because you have to cover all the the raw costs of putting that product together, right? And so that's one thing that we consider. The other big thing to consider, again, if you're manufacturing, is what are other products like yourself selling at retail? Because you have to work in concert, in union with the retailer, for them to be able to put, again, exactly as I've talked about, the right pricing on a product, and it still all be extremely attractive to a consumer. So actually, if you manufacture something, it can be even more tricky,
You kind of have to work backwards.
You do have to work backwards. And again, I've been involved in so many different aspects of retail, going back to being part of a wholesale team, being part of a manufacturing team. And you know what? On average, people don't think that way that work in those, beginning industries as they're putting product through retail. And they don't really care. The whole idea of being a partner and helping sell through product, if you're that manufacturer, if you say to your customer, I truly care about helping you sell through, I want you to make a living, to pay yourself well, to have a profitable business, my gosh, I promise you, retailers will embrace you because they'll say someone cares about what's happening to me. Doesn't just care to sell things in and not help me sell through. So you need more detailed information about pricing as it has to do with being a supplier. We're connected now. You know how to get in touch with me. Let's have a look at the whole idea of pricing. Now, the psychology of pricing is something that I've done a lot of research on, and it's interesting how we're looking at an entire society in North America and how they look at numbers. People think in fives. As prices get higher and over $20, interestingly enough, a few extra dollars, again, in the psychology, will not stop a person from buying. I see far too often businesses that get so caught up in pricing that I just need to bring this forward to you so you just relax a little bit. I had the pleasure of working with a retailer. I work all over the world, believe it or not. It's true. What can happen with the technology that we have, with the passion that I have for what it is I do. A client in New York said, Barbara, you got to help me. I'm in big trouble. And one thing that I started to think, okay, he has 5,000 SKUs of product in his store. What if, when we look at pricing, we just add $1 to each one of the products after a certain price point? We wouldn't add, well, he didn't have any products that, it was a little bit more upscale store. We didn't have products under $20. It just wasn't there. Most products started at 50 or more towards 100. What if we added $1 more to the way he priced things? That's interesting. Well, where does that dollar go? Clients would be willing to pay it. You're not going to start to think about, oh my God, this is too expensive. Because remember, people think in fives. I just asked him to add $1. So what he found, that at the end of any period that we looked at the reports, there was all of a sudden more money in the profit section. Maybe one day I'll have the privilege of helping you buy better. I have a formula that you will absolutely love. That's a cliffhanger. That formula took me, I've been teaching it over 25 years since I've been a coach. So back to the whole idea of numbers. People think in fives, prices get higher, and over 20, an extra few dollars will not stop people from buying. So please hear me on that. Above 100, look to increase the price to the next 25. Okay? Retail, ladies and gentlemen, is a numbers game. Test a few different number strategies, especially when putting a product out on your shelf for the first time. But I can hear some of you, oh my God, I'm selling things that other people are selling, Barb. I'm selling things that are online. I'm very price sensitive. Well, you got yourself in a good jam there. If the largest majority of your product has a lot of competition, I'm not happy for you. Because the other people don't understand how to run their businesses, and I'm trying to give you, little cracks of information, of light to come through your business so that you can you can be profitable, all right? But we can't talk about any of that detail until you would show me a list of suppliers. Remember the report I wanted? A list of categories, and we were able to analyze your business specifically to you so that we could see where we could change behavior. Next slide, please. Okay, more interesting facts about numbers. Psychologists that I have read and that I've worked with say that traditionalists end product prices with the number 5, 7, or 9. Interestingly enough, and you can see this in certain sectors of product sales, that the movement to pricing is at 0 at the end. Whole numbers. Is that revolutionary to you? Have you struggled with that? Should it be a full dollar? Should it be 99 cents? Will that make people think that it's cheaper because it's not $12, but it's $11.99? We are past that point. We are at the whole number. Trust me on that one. And I'm saying don't bother with quarters unless you're a dollar store. Don't do it. Right? Go to the whole number plus 50. Go to the next whole number. Unfortunately, or fortunately, if you're one of the callers that actually feeds into retail sales or is directly is a retail sales store, this detail, these numbers, your business, your profitability, your ability to sustain yourself, to pay yourself back for your investment is in these kinds of issues. Products between $6 and $8, I'm asking you to consider to put it to 10, okay? You've got to start testing the numbers. Please do. Next slide. So we've shared a lot of things, and you can see that I've had to stop myself actually because I can continue talking about each one of these points in so much detail. But today was just a taste. Today we are greeting each other and we're learning more about each other. So let's talk a little bit here now about implementing sales goals, okay? And implementing them now. We need direct impact on conversion. We need direct impact on sales, and we need direct impact on customer relationships. Let's continue. This is fundamental to that statement, getting employees to really step up and own their jobs. I'm going to ask you this question. How many of you actually have job descriptions for your staff? I promise you, if you don't, they've created their own. And that again makes me very, very unhappy for you. So let's hope you have job descriptions for everyone.
And it's also good to have, you have your job description that you send out when you're hiring, they see it, but it's also good once they're hired to have them sit down and look at that description and translate it into what they are being held accountable for.
Right, exactly, bingo, yes. So that, yes, absolutely, that is the arc to that, accountability. Actually, it took me a while, but it took us almost a year to develop a system, which is on my website, on the whole idea of making your staff accountable for what they do. And actually, it's a point system that shows you what the job description should be and how to train your staff to literally implement the goals that I'm sharing. And also, because it's a rated system from 1 to 5, both that the staff do on themselves and you do on them, it gives you an opportunity to see where they need to be trained and then how they need to be compensated. Because I truly believe you never, ever, ever, ladies and gentlemen, give a wage increase on anything but performance. It's
Yes.
not time spent with you. Yes, if we increase sales this month based on this system, this month everybody gets something. Some people just, like a little in-store cash to spend. Some people like a few hours off. Some people like a pizza and a movie. You have to decide what it's going to be, but it is a merit-based reward. If you haven't done it that way, by the way, you get to change what you're doing based on you believing that I'm sharing with you what you need to be doing. And you have to start doing things different. So job description, merit-based rewards, training where is needed. All right.
And even another angle to look at too for your staff would be when you're going through these, well, they call them like annual performance reviews with your staff. And that's the time where you can also go through hand in hand that accountability section so that they can understand what they're accountable for. But also, if they feel they need something in order to complete that task or complete what they're accountable for, this is the chance for both of you to recognize, you know what, I'm accountable for A, but in order for me to do A, I need, C, D, and E.
Joanna, you know what? Because we're in trouble as retailers, I'm going to say that yearly review can definitely change the course of the individual and what they do for you. I'm going to ask you to support me, and what I'm going to say here, that you're almost doing reviews with your staff on their performance based on numbers on a regular basis. So a minimum of once a month. I know it's a lot of work, and I'm going to get a lot of boo from certain businesses, but you have to do things this way. It is in your best interest.
Mm-hmm.
A year, Dwayne, because you have so many different businesses that you connect with, and I have had the privilege of doing that very same thing, because as a business coach, I have been working with beyond retail. It is what I have ended up focusing in on in the last many years. So shared vision, explain why, delegate authority, encourage problem solving, hold them accountable, exactly what you said. Acknowledge them for stepping up. But you have to put this in place. Let's change this life.
I just want to say to everyone, I know that we are running a bit later than normal, but just...
I'm sorry, I'm bad. I'm bad. I threw the clock away.
Yes, if we can probably try to wrap up in the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, you got it. You got it. My privilege. Okay, so training tips. You're going to hire for attitude, train for skill.
Yes, we need to repeat that.
Train for skill. But guess where? Where does the training come? You're either investing in training with people like myself, or you are going to take that on yourselves and realize you have to be that coach. You have to be that trainer. Don't keep your head in the sand, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to do this. Get to know your staff. Everybody, as Dwayne knows, learns differently. Mm. They hear differently. They speak differently. They see differently. They'll need different cues from you.
And they also know themselves. So if they know their learning type. So to ask them about that.
Love it.
And people learn. I mean, you can have different combinations, because in the training portion of things, you need to have everything standardized. You cannot have the content that you're using for one staff and have it different from the other, because you want everyone to do things in the same way.
Yeah, that's the to-do list. But how they're going to do it can be different, right?
Yes, the how is different, but your core policy for your company and all the how-tos that's necessary must all be documented, and they must be this information must be readily available to everyone so that they know exactly how they should do what.
Okay. So you were in charge of a great deal of people, right? Your personnel background,
In
obviously.
my day job, I am a quality control manager. My background is chemistry. I'm very analytical. Everything must be done in a certain way.
Bingo. And that shows through those comments. So you're great to pinpoint that to all of us. There is a discipline to being a retail business owner like no other business. It just isn't. The detail is tremendous, but there's so much value in this. So we're going to tailor the training programs accordingly to what your staff need. And you cannot understate role playing. For those of you who are going, Barbara, I don't understand this role playing. What does that all mean? You're going to write me. I'm going to send you an article I wrote on role playing, okay? But understand that it's going to be pushback from your staff, especially you're going to throw all of this at them. What am I going to do first? I think I do give you a slide where I'll show you how you should do things, okay? So
I can throw out an example that I did for my very first job in Canada.
Yes.
I worked for a retail store in the Eaton Center when I first moved here. And I have never, like, that was really my first job. I was probably like 18 or whatever. And they sold a lot of business attire. And I still remember being blindfolded and having to touch the materials on certain jackets to tell you if it was wool blend, polyester, cotton, because they put scenarios out there where you have people who are trying to shop for suits on their lunch breaks because they have to catch a flight. And if they look at you and say, I'm allergic to wool, you shouldn't have to wait and read the tag to know that there's wool in there. You'll lose a sale. And it was very helpful, because I did encounter those situations where it's like, I have 20 minutes, this is the size I need, this is the color I don't like, and I can't wear this material.
The product knowledge, features and benefits, bingo. Okay, sorry, this person, on what floor were you on?
Pardon?
You said you were on the 4th floor at Eaton's?
Oh no, I worked at actually Tristan and I Suit at the Eaton Center. Back when they used to sell a lot of business attire.
Okay, because I worked for Eaton's on the 6th floor selling china and crystal. That's how I started. We were close.
Yes. I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd floor. I don't remember.
Thank you for sharing. That's really amazing. Our circles just keep closing. Role playing. Enforcing rules, back to comment you made, giving feedback, positive or negative. Negative feedback, ladies and gentlemen, you give almost immediately within the 24 hours, because you need to course correct.
Yes.
The same with positive, but positive where you do negative, sort of more personal, one-on-one. Positive you do in front of the entire team, and just really make people feel good about themselves in front of their team. You do not scream at somebody in front of everybody else. Wrong. But you're going to give your staff room to be creative. And remember, you have to master the qualities of being a great teacher. I don't apologize for that, but you do. Let's turn the page. Okay. Attaining excellence. You can see what I'm asking you to do here. I'm going to read this on your own. Ownership in your staff sales culture is vital. Next slide. Oh, wait a second, Dwayne. I gave them a bit of the job description here. So you're going to read this. Yeah. This is going to become part of your mantra. This was an extra little thing we threw in here at the last minute. But my Norwegian travel experience made me forget that I put this in there. So please enjoy that. But look at that. Look what I have at the very top there. I won't read the whole thing. Drive sales and profitability. That is the main goal of retail sales associates and what is in their job description. Some of them may be very surprised if you share this slide with them. Next slide. Okay. Keys to a strong sales culture. What are we doing here? We're setting sales targets for the year, month, week, and day. We got to work that out. I showed you how. You've got to set in-store goals for the day. I come into work for you. I know what the sales goal is for the day. I know what the average sales tracking, and based on on the conversion rates that you want, I know that if 100 people come in what percentage you expect your salespeople to interact with, and for us to be able to close the sale. The deal is to teach your staff to close the sale. Many retail staff people don't know how to do this. And so you can see how this then nicely fits into us, me at some point, teaching you how to teach your staff to sell. You've got to post regular to-do lists. Your staff cannot be doing what's on your to-do list, as it has to do with store maintenance and upkeep during your power hours. The focus is in and on the client, because that is where we're going to make our highest conversion rates. You're going to start to calculate the average sale, and you're going to count daily. Next slide, please. You're going to do conversion rates. You're going to do your add-on sale program, because you understand staff must take ownership. You understand that. Oh, wait a second. We've never talked about this before. Promotions. Could you please share with your staff your marketing calendar for the month, and then show them what you're doing that week? Many of you already are very strong in communicating on social media, and perhaps maybe on your website, and perhaps you're doing a really good job through email marketing, but you don't tell your staff what you do. You've got to share information with your staff, okay? You're going to train add-on. You're going to, oh, wait a second, I've got something new here. You're going to train upselling. You have to make them feel comfortable with the words that you are going to share with them, so that they feel confident, because they have product knowledge, be able to share features and benefits. Do you know what? Here's an interesting thing. If you do not share and your staff have working knowledge of features and benefits about the product they sell, guess what they do? They sell what they can talk about. Don't get me started about your staff only selling what they like. That is crazy making, but that is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. So you have to circumvent that. You have to circumvent that. You understand about the FaceTime, the power hours, and you understand about recording and identifying why people aren't buying. And I'm in your head now. Barb wants to see if my staff continually tell me they're not buying because they're just looking, because that automatically tells me that your staff is not interacting with the clients. Let's change the slide. All right, you're going to go through this list, and you're going to, this is your homework. This is an action page, daily sales information. Let's change the slide. I've shared with you already a little bit about P&K, but you're going to start a PK library. This is a big piece of information in your store. You're going to maybe divide it among several of your staff that work for you, so that there is a living record of everything you sell and features and benefits. This is great work, okay? You're going to tell staff to stop ignoring product, because look at the middle of this page when you get to see it and you have time to review it. It is my complete belief, and trust me, I've done a lot of calculations and a lot of study on this. 80% of staff sales come from 20% of your product. That's unacceptable. Could you please ask your staff why they boycott products? You will be astonished. They'll say, well, I don't really like it. I don't like the color. I don't really like it. It's way more than I would spend. Tell them to stop thinking about the product through their own pocketbook. That's not what we want. And if your staff have a real passionate feeling about the product that you're selling and they don't like, they need to share that with you, because they already, look at that, that third point is devastating to you. Okay, let's keep going. So let's look at this. This is just another, what I've done, sample calculation, how to set sales goals for the day. I'm trying to get this through. You're going to look at this. Let's see. Let's go through this. Just keep going through the next slide and the next slide after that, perhaps, maybe. Okay. If you could go back, please. I'm sorry to do that. Yeah, okay. So here, when you get to this, what I'm asking you to do is to understand how to divide. If your store, the sales goal is $1,000 for today, and your average sale is 50, and you have to sell to 20 customers, and you have 2 sales staff coming in. Well, guess what? They have to close 10 sales at an average of $50 each. Share the load. See who can perform, who can't perform. And remember, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt when I do these calculations, because I'm saying that the average rate of conversion is 50%. Remember, the North American average is even less than that. What's yours? I think you are going to be really, really surprised when you start to do your own numbers. But here, this page, pull this out, make sure you take a picture of it, because when your staff come in tomorrow, you're going to say, these are our goals, this is our average sale, this is how many clients we have to sell to today. Next page. So this is my promise to you, like all businesses, you have like, what are you going to do this year? This is my transformative year, the whole idea of repositioning retail for 2019. That all of you, so it's just in summary, what I'm going to say to you, merging an online store with your bricks and mortar store, you have to look at that seriously. There are ways to look at developing online stores that don't include showing all the product. You do not have to also have an e-commerce component to it. It could be very much click and collect, meaning that I like this product, but can I pick it up at the store? That's a big, huge movement to click and collect. Don't want to do that? Have clients, you can have sort of almost like a catalog on your website and get customers to pick up the phone, and you'll reserve it for them, and they'll make arrangement for payment over the phone, and maybe you could just deliver it to their door in a valet service. Like, wow, that's pretty cool, eh? Embracing technology to drive retail analytics. For those of you that are waiting to sort of make that happen in your business, don't wait any longer. It's got to happen now, especially if you're going to be in business for the next 5 years. Marketing effectively using the right platforms. We got some work to do that area. I work on that with clients every day. We need to continue increasing sales. Today we really focused in on that and profitability. It's been my pleasure to share that information with you. And then the whole idea of increasing foot traffic through good service in the store, experiences beyond their imagination as customers in your store, and the whole idea of doing some real effective marketing. And the next big thing on the page here, my commitment to retailers in 2019 is to, again, focus in on creating a retail service culture that can sell. So that is my work. That is what I have committed to do with my clients this year, no matter how I reach out to them. And we're succeeding because we want to increase sales by 20%. Now, I have a special offer for you. Dwayne is going to share that information with you on the next slide, because I'm guaranteeing results. So my special offer to you, it's a 90 for 90 at the moment, summer, but days are going by, tune up for your business. So no matter where you are in your business, you can benefit from a tune-up of your marketing and sales activities. So if you join me for a 90-minute private coaching session, there's my offer. That is a really, really good price. I want to help you. And I feel that that would definitely entice you to think about it. You can text me at 416-522-8169 or email me to retailmakeoverca@gmail.com. The sessions are done by phone, FaceTime, or Skype.
Excellent. I will share this information.
There I am.
Everyone. And I like how you always change hair colors. Keep us guessing.
What is going on? What is going on? That was only 6 months ago.
Wow.
Well, you're going to talk to my hairdresser, because there's there's the issue. Depending on how she feels, as you know. It's
very trusting. I am going to share all this, everyone. So if you give me, I will definitely upload everything on YouTube tonight on the Canadian Small Business Woman YouTube page. I will send out an email either tonight or by the end of day tomorrow with the link to the video, as well as I will put the verbiage in for the 90 for 90 business tune-up. And you will also have Barbara's contact information in that email so that you don't have to search for it. I'll make sure you have all the details for sure. And Barbara, I can't thank you enough. If you have any questions, please shoot. I know we interjected with questions, but if you do have any more questions, do feel free to ask, and feel free to reach out to myself or to Barbara. And I took some notes, like I have notes here, notes there.
Well, yeah, here's the deal, okay? We as women have to empower women to think more business-like.
Yes.
Because that's the problem. You know, they'll pay everybody but themselves. It makes me crazy. You can hear it in my voice. It does.
Or what we do is we start thinking that, you know, oh, maybe I should be nice. You're not in business to be nice. You're in business to make money, and you need to have that mindset.
You can, ladies and gentlemen, you can be nice and still make money.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing is that's our journey. I know that's your journey. That's my journey as well. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been my pleasure. I hope I get invited back to me.
Oh, you most certainly will. I am very excited about this. Thank you so much. And definitely rewatch this webinar. We also have a lot of webinars on our site that you can watch. Remember that I will send information to everyone. Remember, we have our August seminar coming up on the 21st. But before that, we have our August meetup, which will be on I'm looking at my calendar. It's going to be on the 9th of August. It was supposed to be on the 2nd, but I'm trying not to do the meetups on a long weekend. So the 9th of August, we can just meet up and get to know each other on a different level. It's a little bit more social, but you still get to meet some wonderful people. And let me know if there's anything I can do for you.
Yeah, business connection is very important.
Yes.
Affiliations. I mean, I talk about that a lot when I do my marketing section, but yeah, affiliations are important. And you know what, Duania? You should. How do we vote for you? Because you've been nominated, and I'm telling you, you are incredible. What you do for women in business in Canada.
Thank you so much. I'm trying my best. That's all I know how to do. And I'm, getting that kind of affirmation just makes me know I'm headed in the right direction. I'm doing some really cool things. So I'm going to continue. I won't stop.
Right. Well, I'll let you sign off. It has been my pleasure, my privilege to be part of your evening, and look forward to the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic night. Thank you, Barbara. Again, this was very filling in terms of knowledge. So I'm excited to try to apply some of these things because my accountant will thank me.
Retail is in the detail. That is an old saying.
Hashtag that, everyone.
Retail's in the detail.
Retail's in the detail.
Exactly.
Have a fantastic night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Training.